Hey guys, DJ from PTA. I'm gonna go over this stock for July 22nd. This was a solid day. Had two winners. Those are two I'm gonna go over, and also talk a little bit about the SPY. So as you can see, I got the SPY daily chart up. Again, guys, remember I told you I was looking for a break and a hold above here, and now we have our first red day. So I'm thinking that we may pull back to this line, maybe pull back down to the 386 previous week high. Maybe pull back to that area somewhere around here before we bounce and have a continuation. That would be ideal for the trade if you are trading the SPY. And then after that, that's probably when I would be looking at joining to take it back up to the 417 area. Those would be my ranges, looking at it from that point of view. So again, I'm just not joining it. I'm waiting for it to confirm for a longer term trend. The first stock I'm gonna go over is TBLT. TBLT was a pretty good one. The areas and points I want to kind of go over because this is something we traded previously before. So these lines are from previous days. So for instance, this line here, the $6 mark is where it rejected and pulled away from. Same with the 560, pulled away from. So we start breaking down those areas of interest where you want to get in, get out. And this is how you build your basis off of critical areas. So breaking this trade down, my price point, and let me go down here to the 30 minutes so I can show you. What I was looking for was a nice hold. So, previous day was 573. So that's about 20 cent, 30 cent away from the hold area, the $6, which was off of the daily. You have 560 being another critical area. I see that it bounced from there, and it was looking like it was trying to reverse right in that area. So breaking it down, now looking at it, you know that we had this wash the first 30 minutes. When you break it down, go down into the 5, you start to see the actual pattern. So, we had some volume coming in pre-market, pulled back to that 560 area, and then it ramped up, slammed into the 6, and then pulled. So as soon as it came back and held 6, that is when I got interested. That's when I was like, okay, this may have some legs. So when people ask me, what's the confirmation? I'm looking for these key areas that the stock is either bouncing off of or respecting or staying in the range of, and I'm looking at the price action. So ultimately, this stock has some pretty decent price action coming off of here. So my entry was at 605. So the reason why I use 605 is that this became a very critical area looking at it from a 1 minute time frame. So even though I'm looking at this, I'm seeing everything that I'm seeing, I look for the price action. I'm looking at what it's doing on a smaller time frame. The price action really correlates with ultimately the level 2. So when I see certain price action, I look at the level 2. That's what's helped me get into that trade. So let's talk about that trade. So we had this nice little bounce. Remember, ABCD, ABCD. Well, I had seen that multiple times. So not only did we have the stock pull back up, created this A, made support right down here. So this 590 really act as a clear area of support. So I look at each area as a support and resistance. So this became a zone. All this here, previous day high, previous day close, and then a daily support along with another daily support that it actually came down and ripped and like came back over, like an over under play over a critical area is a good sign that that stock is going to move. So when we look at this from both angles, you can look and see that there was pretty much a pattern here. So you had your A, you had your B, which was this line here. And let me remark that color, because this was an intraday color. So remember, guys, I usually use that purple intraday color. This was an intraday hold. So when it held here at 590, popped up, came back, respected it twice, that was double confirmation. Remember that the first area, let me redraw this again, was the ABC. So the A was here. This became B, which was support. It popped up. This created another A for me. This right here, now this intraday hold, $6 became B within. So it's an ABC within a ABC. So when I saw that, I got really, really confident. So I enter in at 605, which was right here. And the reason for that is I wanted to see if it popped back up. So it popped up, created another A, popped up, hit B, and then remember, it has to go back up, because this is your pattern. It has to go back up, respect the previous area before it turned. So I got in at 605 for that reason. So right here, let me zoom in, is where the pattern really played out perfectly. So let me draw this so you can kind of see it from this point of view a little bit closer. So when the stock respected this 605, popped back up, and then showed that it was respecting this $6 area, that's when I squoze in at 605. So my real risk was here. So from 605 to there was 11 cent, 10 cent. I had about a 10-cent risk. Even from down here was only 15 at 590. So that's a solid trade. So why would that be solid? Well, let's talk about that. You got intraday support, daily support, trading above previous day close, previous day high, trading over another daily support with volume into a pattern. And this creates all the confluence that you're looking for before placing the trade. I had so many signs that this stock was going to move for all these reasons. So we had intraday support. Remember, daily support was 605 was my entry, coming off of a break into previous pre-market high, and just from there it took off. I mean, this was probably one of my best trades for the month, and I didn't get the whole bit of the move. I only got like the 8, I think it was 835, 845, something like that. And I loaded most of the shares off. I think it was right around, let's see something here. Go back to the 5 minute. Yeah, 850s. So I think I loaded off my last set of shares in the 850s. This was about 858 when it broke down here off the 5. It was just a major break after it had already ran up to 935. So that was a pretty good break from 605 down here to 850s. I think my order is, looking at my order confirmation now, it's like 848. So I got some off of 840s, 844. So good average all the way around. I didn't get the chance to ride the whole move, but I got the bulk of it. I got the meat of the move. This was really the meat of the move on this one. So again, guys, you got to look at all the different pieces, the confluence of what each piece is telling you, and how to play that stock in that way. So that's what made this a phenomenal trade, inside and out. And then, you know, ultimately the other stock that I ended up playing played out the same way. That stock being PGY. So PGY already had came off of a massive move a couple days prior, and then this was just a continuation. So it was pretty much a exhaustion move. They couldn't really bring it down. Wasn't no shorts available. So the next day, ideally, it was going to rip. So that became a really good solid trade. Now we didn't have a lot of data, so much of what I was using was based off of the previous days, because you figure once it got over 7, it flew. So once you circle in onto a 30-minute, that's where it got interesting. Now I didn't get into the initial move because I was playing TBLT. But again, when you're patient and you understand, you just sit back and you wait until it sets up again, and then that's when you get into another move. My entry on this one was 10.02. So ultimately, if you can look at this, you can kind of see it was holding pretty much 10 was like a key area. $9.80, $10. So if you break this down to a 5-minute, you can really see why I got in at 10.02. So right here is where the confirmation flew in. This was a big rip. Now I missed the later part of the move because I had walked away from my desk, which was another rip back up to 14. But this was your A. So if you're playing this and you didn't know or you didn't see the first part of the move, you got to wait for it to exhaust. This was the first part of the move or the exhaustion. Then it created B. Okay? So what made me feel excited was this pullback, and this move right here, this section right here is what created C for me. So breaking that down, now, again, if you're looking at it from a trading standpoint, you can see that it had popped up. So we seen the ABC on the first part. Now you can really see the difference. So what I always do is I look for that support. So it bounced down, created support here. Now it bounced up, that's when it created support. When it pulled down, this created the new support. So I was waiting for a break over here, but I saw that the level 2 right there around 10 is where everybody was trying to climb into the stock. I seen the tape started speeding up a little bit around that 10 o'clock area, that $10 area. So as soon as it started there, I jumped in at 10.02 and it just ripped. Now this was a massive rip, almost 12. This was almost a $2 move. So, I end up getting in at 10.02, loaded shares off at 11.57. It was a $1.57 move, but this was just a massive rip because I believe that everybody was thinking the same thing or saw the same thing, and they started bailing right at higher day. So when I saw that, that was a really big indication that this stock has some legs to move. And once it ripped, I took off. This was parabolic. I knew it had to fall back. So when it slammed really fast, I had already got out. And because I have been up on the other move on TBLT, I pretty much just said, you know what, I'm done for the day. I hit some good goals. I hit some nice numbers. Wasn't gonna be greedy or come back or anything like that. Now some of our traders that missed this move caught this move. It's the same pattern. It actually used the 10.02, or should I say $10 area, as I saw before earlier on the level 2. That was the area that they were buying in. So they popped the unwig, pulled it back to the $10 area, did an ABC, and then ripped it again and go back up to 14. So 10 was that critical area. $10 was the critical area. This was more of an entry day. So that should have been purple. And then, like I was telling you guys, looking at the level 2, and this is why level 2 reading is so important. $10 was a critical area as well. So it played as a level of support right there. It popped up, created support here and here, and then took off. So realistically, You always want to look for that key area, look for that key senses of where you need to be in that, how you need to place that trade, reading the level two, look for the confluence, and then that's how you have a successful trade. All right, guys. If you have any questions, concerns, leave it in the comment section. Also, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. And as I tell all old traders and new, stay studying and stay focused.